Ansaam Silver. I really like the look of this bottle. It's very attractive to me. I think it's one of the classiest bottles that Lattafa has. It's very simple, but it also has that intricate flower design in the front. I really enjoy it. This scent is interesting to me because it's mentioned considerably online, but it's almost like it's dropped in comment sections like a hidden gem. This is mentioned a lot as a hidden gem.
Only one made it to here, the diamond in the rough.
Even though it's pretty popular online. To me, this scent opens up very green, very herby, very earthy. It opens up very earthy, very green, but with some citrus to support it and some vanilla to give it some sweetness. It's very aromatic. It's a very unique opening scent. This is supposed to be a dupe of Azzaro's The Most Wanted. I don't have that, so I can compare it, so I'm just gonna give you the vibes on this alone. Once this dries down, this becomes a more standard vanilla scent with some creamy patchouli, with some creamy earthiness, and becomes a little bit more of a standard fragrance. So this starts off unique, starts off interesting, it starts off very nice, but once it dries down, it becomes a little bit more generic with some added details there. Let's talk about notes first because I'm getting ahead of myself. So the top notes for this are cardamom, bergamot. The middle notes are lavender and divana, and the base notes are vanilla, amber, and patchouli. This is essentially like an aromatic balm. So like I said at first, this is a moderate sweetness scent that opens up very herby, very green, very earthy with some vanilla to support it. And then after it kind of dries down, it becomes a little bit more generic, vanilla, creamy, and supported slightly by the patchouli and supported slightly by flowers to make it a little bit more interesting than your generic vanilla scent. The things that make it stand out are not unique enough to make it a, oh my god, this is so worth trying. It's just an interesting scent, but not something that blew my socks off. It's just something that I was like, oh, it's cute, it's nice. To me, it just turned too generic to be something that I would reach for constantly. It smelled nice. It just didn't smell groundbreaking. It didn't smell earth-shattering to me. It just smelled interesting to a point. It smelled generic with details. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the longevity, this lasts pretty long, but the projection isn't really super powerful. Starts off maybe 5 feet, turns into 3 by the time it dry down, so it's 2 hours, and then by hour maybe 4, it turns into like a 1 foot bubble, so it keeps projecting, but it doesn't really turn into a skin set at any point. It keeps projecting. One thing is it does stay on your clothes forever, so you have to wash it off. It will stay on your clothes for days. I made the mistake of spraying this on a sweater that I wore underneath a winter coat, and now my winter coat pretty much smells permanently of this, so I have to wash my winter coat to get the smell off of it. Every time I do a review, a lot of you ask me about how things compare to other scents, and especially scents that you have. I decided to do a giveaway. How's that gonna work? I created a form that's gonna be in my YouTube description. All you have to do is complete the form, which is writing your name, writing what fragrance you're interested in, and how you want me to contact you. 1 week after I posted that video, I will contact 3 individuals from that form and get their shipping information to send them a 2 milliliter decant of the fragrance I was talking about. If you're not sure that the notes I'm mentioning and the vibe that I'm describing works for you, you can test it out for yourself now. You don't have to blind buy the scent. And then be ready to get your decant in the mail. On Fragrantica, this has a 4.37 out of 5 with 392 votes. This is not super popular, but it has a pretty high rating. Positive things that people have been saying about this is that it's very close to Azzaro's Most Wanted. People praise its longevity and its projection, and people say that it is inexpensive and it's kind of versatile. I'm not sure how versatile this is for real unless you wait 2 hours after spring to go to that event, because this can choke out a room if it's a very closed environment. Like right now I sprayed this and I can already kind of feel a cloud around me that's kind of taking over this area. So you might want to spray, wait a couple hours before you go to your event, because the initial spray of this is kind of aggressive and you don't want people to feel like you're doing too much. In terms of negative, people say that this is a little bit too synthetic. I didn't perceive that, but I don't know. Maybe my nose is not there yet in terms of perception of synthetic notes. People kind of complain about the linearness of this, that it's not as complex as Azzaro's Most Wanted, that even though it's a good dupe, there are some nuances in that original scent that are not present here. It feels like a cheaper, which it is, version of that original scent. Overall, people like this scent. It's a positive reception. They just feel like there's something missing, which is what I'm thinking. It's the same thing I think. I think this is a good scent. It just turns into a generic scent, and it feels like there's something missing here. There's like an added element that's missing here. It's good, but it's missing something to make it great. It's missing something to make it a star. The type of person that would wear this, I think, is a confident person. I think it's a person that would kind of exude a certain level of confidence and self-assuredness. So I'm thinking that this kind of fits with like a salesperson vibe, a fast talker, a person who is very into conversing and convincing people of something. So this is the kind of vibe that I get from this. I'm not sure why I'm getting that vibe, but that's what I'm getting. So this reminds me of people when you visit like a fancy store or whatever, and they're trying to convince you to buy something, or they're trying to convince you to get to like invest in something. This is the kind of scent I would imagine that they're wearing. So that's the kind of vibe, like a guy wearing expensive clothing, not necessarily a suit, like shirt, khakis, and trying to convince you to get a timeshare. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. This is drying down. Obviously, it's not dried down. That takes hours. But as this is already drying down, the vanilla is coming in a little bit, and it's becoming a little less green, a little more ambery, a little less aromatic. And like I said, it's becoming a little bit more generic and a little less recognizable as something that I could pick out from a line of scents. So that's my problem with this. I think this is a solid 8. I think the scent is like a 7. The projection is like a 9. The scent is a 7 mainly because of how generic it becomes after a while. I couldn't pick it out of a lineup once it dries down. That sucks to me, man. If there's not something in the scent that makes it stand out, if there's not something in the scent that makes it like add interest, I just get bored with the scent and I might not try it. I think this is something that I will probably layer. This is something that you might want to try. Maybe my nose is not picking up something that should be there, but overall, this is an 8 for me. Good, not great. Let me know what you think, guys. Did you get the scent? Did you like it? Remember that scents are subjective. What I like isn't necessarily what you like. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and always remember to smell your best. See ya.